Shaq is going at it again with Rudy Gobert. Both the guys have had words for each other. I just want to read what Shaq said about Rudy Gobert that got another response. So here goes. If you sign a contract for $250 million, show me $250 million. There's a reason why I walk funny, why I can't turn my neck, and why I'm in pain. I played for about $120 million. Guys like Gobert are messing up the system. They're making all this money and can't fucking play. People think I'm hating, but these are facts. You've got teachers, firemen, doctors who have real jobs and don't get paid shit. This feud really does bother me. Not because I'm a fan of Rudy Gobert. I'm definitely not a fan of his or a Shaq fan, but I do find Shaq annoying when he complains about just his era and how much money he's gotten paid. I've seen it in other interviews in the past where he says like, "Oh, I didn't make enough. These guys are getting paid a lot. I didn't get their money. If I got their money, things would be different." And I want to say, what the fuck are you talking about? Yes, you signed a $120 million contract back in the day, but what people don't know is the context about it. Heck, $120 million is still a lot of money today. It's still a lot of money today where if you got $120 million even after the taxes, you wouldn't have to work the rest of your life as long as you didn't spend the money stupidly. You would be good. You would be set up for generations. And that's with all the inflation that's going on right now. So I really find that annoying. Shaq is acting like just he was paid like $30,000 a year and he was just robbed, or he was like from like the Wilt Chamberlain generation and where guys didn't get paid money and had to work at grocery stores during the summertime. Just to me, it's absurd. But I just had to go back to that. I got to talk about some facts about Shaq's career when it comes to his financials. Shaq was the first player to get a $100 million contract in NBA history back in the summer of 96 when he was a free agent. He signed with the Lakers. I think it was for like 6 years, $121 million or something just back then. That was the highest contract in NBA history at the time. So he got paid great when you compare it to his peers. He was definitely never underpaid. Shaq throughout his career was never underpaid. That's another thing to factor in. And it gets more ridiculous when you look through how much he was getting paid every year of his career, especially after he signed his first $100 million contract. If you go to the 2000s, because when he first signed the Lakers contract in 96, it catapulted him to being the fourth highest paid player in the league per year. I looked it up on Hoops Hype. But then when you go to the 2000s, Shaq had a stretch during the 2000s where he was either the highest paid player in the league or the second highest paid player played in the league. It was just him and Garnett. They were always neck and neck for the first 7-10 years of the 2000s. And then it started to taper off a little bit towards the end of the late 2000s. He fell to, I think, the third highest paid player in the league. And then in 2010, he fell to the fifth highest player in the league. Keep in mind, Shaq, I felt, was overpaid after, I would say, 2006, after he won his final championship. Those next 4 years, he was hot dogging it. He wasn't playing at a great level. He was definitely not playing at a level he deserved to be paid as the top three player in the league, when he's definitely not a top three player, but he's getting a top three salary. So he was stealing money during that period of time of his career. Let's be honest. Let's call it for what it is. And this is why I feel Shaq can't complain about these guys getting paid or even overpaid, because he had a period of time of his career where he slacked off and he got grossly overpaid. Not what he should have gotten compared to what he was producing on the court. So I find that insulting and disgraceful. And you look on top of that, I'll give Shaq credit in this regard. He saved his money. He invested all his money. His net worth is $500 million. And if you look at how much money he made for his whole entire career, let's look at it career-wise. I have Basketball Reference pulled up. He made $292 million, $198,327. I'll repeat again, $292,198,327. Factor in taxes. Let's say taxes took half of his money, okay? After taxes, let's say he was left with $146 million. That's a shitload of money. You have to be stupid not to be able to save that money. And obviously Shaq did. So again, when I hear him complain about these guys getting paid too much, to me it falls on deaf ears, because It's not like he suffered. He's always bitter to some regards that he can't make the current money that the NBA players are making right now. But even when you adjust for inflation, the amount of money he made back then would still be great today. It still would be great today. And if he's concerned really about the players being overpaid, it's not Rudy Gobert that's going to screw up the players' future contracts when it comes to getting paid money. It's really the networks that determine how much these guys are making. That's really the truth of the matter. If we're being honest, I don't think any of these guys deserve the astronomical amount of money that they're getting now. When you look at it based on just the ratings they produce on TV, their ratings are at an all-time low. They're not producing a lot of eyeballs, but it doesn't matter in this era because ratings don't matter anymore when it comes to these TV networks. They're just trying to get professional sports on their channels at all costs, even if they had to overpay for it, because they feel it's still worth it when it comes to advertising to have a sports league on their network versus just having regular shows or whatnot. And that's how the NBA is capitalizing on it. Their ratings are not that good. If these TV networks still base their pay on ratings, the NBA players would definitely be getting a lot less money because they're not producing ratings at all. Also, another thing for people to know is that you have streaming services such as Amazon and Netflix that are going to drive up the value of the NBA. If not, they're already driving it up. Amazon is the reason why ESPN and I'm trying to think who else, NBC had to just overpay to get the NBA, in ESPN's case to keep the NBA, in NBC's case to get the NBA back, because Amazon is determined to have really a monopoly when it comes to even sports leagues. They want to control everything. Amazon's a gigantic company. So they want to control every sphere of influence. And if they can control all sports, well, that's better advertising for them, and that helps their business line. So that's really what it comes down to, is that Amazon and these streaming networks are driving up the value. And as long as they're driving up the value of the NBA, these players will continue to get overpaid. It's not based on what they're producing. It's just based on the competitors and the demand for their product, which the NBA has a lot of high demand right now due to Amazon. So Rudy Gobert is not going to screw it up for these other players when it comes to getting overpaid. They're going to continue to get overpaid until Amazon and these other networks feel the NBA does not give them any value when it comes to advertising. That's when these salaries will drop. I do think eventually it'll happen sometime in my lifetime. I just don't know when, but I think eventually over time, these networks, these streaming services will start to devalue these leagues. I just think it's only a matter of time. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to say about this, but the other thing I wanted to say that bothers me about this feud is that it just shows like all of Shaq is childish. Nobody was saying Rudy Gobert is a great center. No one was saying he's an all-time great, that he's in the pantheon of greats or anything like this. He's getting paid based on his value, which is he's winning these Defensive Player of the Year awards. You could say he's overrated, but facts are that the Wolves won a lot of games last year. I think they had the second best record in the West, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I think it was the second best record they had in the West last year. And so Rudy Gobert was a huge part of it. He was a great defensive anchor. I know his criticism is that he can't score, but he's not getting paid to score points. Just he's not. And if you look at Hoops Hype, he's ranked as the 15th highest paid player in the league. So I'm just looking at it right now. He's ranked number 15. And he's probably going to fall a few more slots down in upcoming years when these other guys get new contracts. In a few years, he'd probably be the 25th, 30th best player in the league. If you look at these other guys like Luka Doncic, who are going to be up for contracts pretty soon. So expect him to drop. Heck, I think he's not going to be number 16 after the Jamal Murray deal. Jamal Murray is getting paid $50 million per year now. So he's gonna overtake Rudy Gobert. And you look at Rudy Gobert, will be a free agent in 2 years. So I'm sure the next contract, whatever he gets, won't propel him that high. But it's just he's getting paid according to the market. I don't really know if there are that many players who deserve to be making more money than him. And if they are, they're going to eventually make more money than him once their contracts are up. Just that's really how it goes. It's all about timing. It's like really musical chairs when it comes to the rankings of these players when it comes to highest paid in the current NBA. guys will be making more every year just based on the TV deal. It's just kind of like how every year we'll have a new guy being the highest paid player in the league. Like I think this upcoming season it could be Jaylen Brown if I'm not mistaken, but if right actually it's Stephen Curry. So go figure. Just who's to say who it will be next year? But it changes every year. Just you just gotta look at it based on the TV money and whoever's a free agent. But Rudy Gobert is getting paid, I believe, fair value when you compare him to just the rest of the league. So I just feel Shaq is bullying him because Shaq always needs to bully someone to have a target. That's really the only way Shaq can just have a platform to, I feel, a large degree to stay relevant. I know people are gonna say, "What are you talking about? He's all time great," but I feel Shaq is the type of person that always has to bully someone or stand on top of someone to get noticed. Just he always has to have a new feud, a new beef, so people keep talking about him. That's really his strategy. It's been his strategy since he's entered the league. I remember that because I was in elementary school way back in the day when he first entered as a rookie, and the moment he came in, he started talking trash about David Robinson, Patrick Ewing. Just he's always had feuds. That's how he builds himself up. So to me, it's childish now because the man is like in his 50s, but that's who he's going to be for the rest of his life. He's always going to be feuding with someone, whether it's Gobert or taking shots at Jokic if he feels Jokic is threatened by him, or even taking shots at Victor Wembanyama in the future if Victor ever lives up to the hype and wins some MVPs or championships. I expect Shaq to take shots at Victor, but that's really all I had to say about this.